When you're preaching, do you ever get nervous or do you just act like a superhero up there?
Well, son, the truth is, don't tell anybody, but I always get nervous. Sunday after Sunday, no matter what the event, what the experience is, if I know I have to preach, there's a certain excitement and nervousness centered around that. I think I worry about words and I just want to get it right because, as your grandmother once said, every word counts when preaching the gospel. And so, yeah, I do get nervous, but I'm glad you don't see any of that. I'm trying to be the best superhero I could be.
Mom, what is something people at church would be shocked to learn about you?
Well, I think people at our church will be shocked to know that I performed with the Cleveland Orchestra, singing with the Cleveland Orchestra for several years in my late teens.
What's harder, preaching a sermon on Sunday or helping me with my homework?
Full transparency, right now, helping you with your homework is much easier than preaching a sermon. But son, ask me this question 5 years from now, and I promise you my answer will be totally different.
If our family had a reality TV show, what sitcom would it resemble?
I think it would resemble several TV shows. The first one that comes to mind is a classic, The Cosby Show. The second would be Blackish. I think we have that vibe. And then also The Office. We have a lot of moments, great moments, funny moments, classic moments. And I would say those three.
What's something you hope I learn from watching you be a pastor?
Something I hope that you learn is really something I picked up from your grandfather, who also served many, many years as a pastor. People don't care what you know until they really know that you care. They'll forget the sermon. They'll forget even the scripture that you read. They may even forget the song that you sing, but they will never forget you showing up for them to share in their joys as well as their sorrows. So don't forget the people, son. No matter what, keep the people in mind.
Who helped shape the woman you are today?
I would say definitely you, my first daughter. I've grown in immeasurable ways. I would also say my grandmother, your Nana, taught me to pray, taught me to trust God, taught me to have faith. I would say your grandmother, my mom, taught me a lot about work ethic. And then I would say in my motherhood, it would be your Auntie Michi, my sister. She is everything that I would love to embody in my motherhood journey.
When things get hard, what helps you keep going?
To be honest, it's twofold. One, the faith that we keep is the faith that really keeps us. So I just reflect upon a scripture that has spoken life to me in times of uncertainty. My favorite one, my go-to is probably the 37th Psalm. Fret not thyself over evildoers. Don't be worried about the deeds of those that are wicked, but to do the right thing in all seasons, and that God will inevitably give you the desires of your heart. You've also been an inspiration, you and your siblings. I can't quit. I won't quit because we try to be a good example for you all. Times are tough, but always remember you're tougher. So as you always say, son, just keep going.
When did your faith become your faith and not just something you learned growing up?
I would say around 10th grade, I started having my own teenage, more independent struggles. And I felt like I had to have my own personal relationship with Christ. I really started viewing him as a father figure for me. That's when I started going to church on my own, making my way to church and developing my own community even there. But personal faith life would be 10th grade.
When did you know God was calling you to be a pastor?
I can remember as early as 7 years of age, writing sermons what my mom would find around the house and call them letters to God. They were actually sermons that I was preaching, not to people, but to my stuffed animals. That was my first congregation, and I was faithful serving that congregation. I think by the time I got to undergraduate school, my first year in college, it was clear. I was having dreams, I was having visions, and at that point, I just knew it was time to say yes. And saying yes to God, son, is the best answer you could ever give. So yeah, that's when I knew. And since then, God has just added confirmation of call. Yeah.
What keeps your faith strong even when life doesn't go the way you planned?
I would say my children. You, Joshua Jr., John, you all keep my faith strong. Because even when I'm doubting, I feel that it is my greatest responsibility as your mom to lead you to Christ. And so I take great pride in that. But it also influences me to know I need to keep my head up, keep my eyes on God, so that I can inspire you all to do the same when you are facing those challenging life moments.
If someone is losing faith or feeling far from God, what would you tell them?
What I would tell them is what I would tell you as my son. We've all been there. If you keep on living, you're going to have those challenges. But here's what I know. Faith that cannot be tested is faith that cannot be trusted. I would encourage them to give it more time, to give it another try, and to surround themselves with people that can identify with whatever season they're in. Yeah, troubles come, but I'm grateful trouble doesn't last always. And here's one thing that they don't tell you often. God can handle your questions. God can handle your frustrations. And when he seems far, just know that he's always watching and he's always near when we're ready for him to come closer. So I would say just keep the faith as much as you can, but to know, be patient with yourself and certainly be patient with God as he reveals to you what he wants you to know in those difficult moments.
What excites you the most about this new chapter for our family and our church?
I'm so excited for us to be here, absolutely, as your parents and as the adults. But I think it's just something so special about when children have a place and space to worship and learn more about God and have a sense of family. And so I'm looking forward to learning more about that partnership, because I believe that it is a partnership between our family, our church, and our God.
If every young girl in our church could have one piece of advice from you, what would you want them to know?
I would say ask for wisdom. Ask for a double portion of wisdom, because you will need it. The world is full of a lot of good, a lot of things that are not so good, but if you ask God for wisdom, you will feel ready for whatever life has to throw at you. And so I would say ask for wisdom. My number 2 piece of advice is no matter what goals you have, whether big, whether small, keep going no matter what. So in a nutshell, I would say rest if you must, but don't you quit.
As you start this new chapter, what do you hope people remember most about your ministry?
I want my legacy to be love. I think that is something we kind of overlook even in our faith. Most of Christ's journey and ministry was centered around the conversation around not only belief in God, but love for one another. And I think we sometimes miss that, so I want them to remember, although I wasn't flawless, I did my best to be faithful and showing up for them the best I could. And that if nothing else, they were certainly loved in this season. So that's what I want to remember. That's the legacy that I want to leave. Love.